Behind the bag, it gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
Jeter ends his final game with a walk-off single.
Here's the drive to left. That one is long gone.
Welcome to the Long Gone Podcast. Is me, Michael. With me, as always, surprised me with the fuck them too. S-Man.
What up?
Steve Ford.
How's it going, man?
What's up? We're here.
Fuck the Dodgers. I think I told you earlier a couple days ago. They're now on definitely square on my enemies list here. So I hope that hope that they all get a massive venereal disease or something and just crash and burn. So fuck those guys.
Steve hates the Dodgers.
You and I talked about it. Skubal needed to be traded. I'm all for it. Trade him anywhere else, though. These fucking turds don't need that. No, they don't fucking need Skubal. All right? It's like the rich get richer, and then I hear fucking Dave Roberts, well, any of the other GMs could have did what our front office did, but this is why I love our front office. We're not afraid to take those chances and go get those big guys. Fuck you, man, all right?
Fuck him, too!
Yeah, I'd like to see him manage a team that doesn't have superstars, just see how fucking good you are, all right?
Wow,
Fucking
I guess we're going to be
pile of
talking
crap.
Dodgers to start. Okay, so I get it. I get the frustration. I was clung to my phone the entire trade deadline from the weekend to Monday, figuring out what everybody's going to do, what the Tigers are going to do. Everybody was kind of waiting for the Tigers to make a move, and they did. And, a lot of people were pissed off. They were pissed off at the return. They were pissed off like you about him going to the Dodgers. You didn't care that he got traded. You just cared that he went to the Dodgers.
Go to the Brewers. Go to the Braves. Go to the Cubs. Fucking go to the Rays. I don't give a shit. Anyone but the Dodgers.
I'm here to say, everybody, it's going to be okay.
It's going to be okay.
I
go
think
anywhere else
baseball,
from your deferred money. Fucking $1.1 billion.
I saw that report. They have the most deferred money of any sport, any franchise of all time.
Golly.
So, okay, looking at this a couple different ways, this will change baseball. I mean, at this point, people are so mad about it. The Dodgers aren't breaking any rules. I mean, they're
not
clearly within their right of what they're doing. And like you mentioned, Dave Roberts said, well, any team, and even Skubal was like, any team could have traded for me. That is 100% true.
It's true.
The problem was nobody was giving up what the Tigers wanted.
Right.
And nobody was giving up like a first pick. And then there were some early reports said, oh, the Phillies were going to give them up their number one with Gage Wood and that Justin Crawford, who, is up with them this year, and another high prospect. That wasn't true. Dombrowski was never going to give up that.
No way.
For Skubal, for a rental. So we knew that. And he's right. Nobody was. So the Tigers took the best deal, and it so happens to be the Dodgers because, like you and I have always gave Dodgers high marks on their scouting department. Their scouting
and develop.
And their prospect, they were just really good at it. And some people said, well, why, look at the return the Red Sox got for Adley Rutschman, way more than what the Tigers got. I'm like, yeah, but you got to look at the quality of prospects because that's just a number. You're like, well, it's got the number 4, 10, and it's like, yeah, but the quality of prospects is way different.
Exactly.
The Tigers get Hope, who is basically Carl Crawford, a reincarnation of Carl Crawford. And I think he's going to do some really big things. They also, in that deal, they ended up getting River Ryan, who just basically is kind of log jammed with the Dodgers and I didn't want Emmett Sheehan. I think that guy's, in my opinion, might be a bust. And River Ryan, I think he needs good coaching, but he has like Skubal-esque velocity. And then they picked up Brady Smith, who I think everybody's, he could be a good starter. No, he's going to be a bullpen arm. Okay. So those are the return, and people were mad at the return. The thing is, I think this is good for baseball now, just because now the baseball has to change because it's so backwards,
big time. Yep.
Yes, and I think going in the CBA, the owners will be like, see what happened, and especially if the Dodgers three-peat. I mean, if they three-peat, it's over. They're going into a straight. They think this trade single-handedly, Steve, probably canceled next season or most of next season.
Yep.
I think you could be right.
Yep. Yeah, I think we're definitely looking at a shortened season, if not a complete lockdown, because just it's got to change, and we can't keep having teams here like the Dodgers, and like you said, they're not breaking any rules, but they're not making it any easier for these these other mid-level teams that are just trying to get by and try and compete. It's like, how the fuck do you compete with that? You can't.
You can't.
You can't.
Yeah, it's like an NBA player playing on a middle school team, right?
Yeah, it is.
And I get it. I mean, I get it.
It's like the Monstars.
I actually apply. I wanted this trade to happen because I knew that the Dodgers had the best farm system. One, but two, I also knew that we needed somebody. You almost need to break it to fix it, and everybody was so mad at so mad at Scott Harris. And I tell you, could he have gotten more? Maybe, but from what from his press conference yesterday, nobody was giving him anything. And I think he should have waited. If I could take one thing that Scott Harris should have did better, he probably should have waited till Monday to do the deal, because the deal would have still been there, but you might have had teams that have been more desperate.
We'll talk about more when we talk winners and losers at the trade deadline.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
but I do think this will break things. You have to go on the CBA, and you talked about, it is unfair. Here's the thing you and I have talked about this a couple weeks ago. It was in our headline. If you go on our YouTube, you'll see the headline, the headline that is in there. It says a league-changing move, right? I mean, this could be a league-changing move, and it is, because we knew something like this would happen. And I think you got to look at the new CBA down. Like, okay, how can mid-level or lower franchises work under this system? And the best thing is, you and I have said this in episodes past. You give them a floor that they got to spend so much money. And there has to be a ceiling, maybe, salary cap. I feel like you can't really do a salary cap anymore, because what are you saying? Everybody who made the money, now it's like the rest of people coming up can't make that money. So that would be a tricky one.
I don't know if you've been watching MLB Network, but they've been throwing the propaganda out there about the salary cap, but they've also been talking about the floor. If you watch their shows, obviously they're owned by MLB, so MLB is going to put their spin of how they want things, and it's basically imploring fans to get the salary cap, but not just the salary cap, but to get the floor. They really talk about the floor. They want to have a base to start with. So
I get it. I mean, I get it. There should be a floor. There should be a floor on this. I do think. Here's my thing. This is how you fix it. You try. The league tries to get all the owners to sell. The ones that are one owner teams need to sell, because of the future. And I've said this many episodes ago. The future of the league is in multiple ownership. People like the Dodgers have set the blueprint. That's how they have all the money in the world, because they have a ton of owners. You need ownership groups. I mean, look at the Redskins, who are now the Commanders. They're an ownership group, right? In the NFL, you see those teams spending a little bit more money now. They can extend their players a little bit. The one owner teams, Steve, are going to be really hard to push forward. The higher the salary cap, the higher the salaries, the less they can spend, because they're only one owner team.
Right.
So you almost got to. I would encourage that they encourage teams to sell to groups, or at least sell more shares of your club to bring in more owners. That's the only way it's going to get fixed.
I completely agree. Yep. So begs the question, now that the Dodgers have Skubal, do they try and sneak in a multi-year contract before this CBA expires, or what do you think they do? Or do you think they just let it play out?
Okay. Well, you and I, they would be smart to sneak it in. But Skubal, I don't know. That's a tough one, dude.
Because Scott Boras, he loves free agency, right? Right.
Yeah, but if this new CBA, I mean, if I were the Dodgers, I wouldn't do it, just because I wouldn't pay about to be 31-year-old pitcher $400 million, that's what he wants. Scott Boras, he's an incredibly smart agent, but he's also a fucking dickhead. And
Yep.
people say he ruins baseball. I don't know if I go that far because I am for the players, but I'm also for the teams. But I also think that when you're not answering calls, like he didn't answer Scott Harris's calls, and he set the precedent out there with all that fucking rhymes he was
the nursery
talking.
rhyme shit. Yeah. Yep.
He made the Tigers look bad, and he represents Skubal. And the whole thing, it was like, oh, you just don't want to negotiate because he came out because essentially Scott Harris supposedly offered Tarik Skubal a lowball offer. That's the rumor.
Yeah,
nobody can prove it.
Coming off the first Cy Young, it was like 5 at 80 or something like that to say let's lock up. And I guess Scott Boras was like, "Fuck you, we're going free agency all the way." And he's like,
and
"All right,
he didn't.
We're good."
Yeah. And what is in any negotiation? Like you just got to throw a number out and then negotiate. Well, he was so insulted by it. Maybe Skubal was too. I don't know that they were like just never going to sign. So I kind of applaud Scott Harris for sticking to his guns and being like, okay, we're going to ride this out. Scott Harris, like I said, he should have waited till Monday for the deadline, but even better than that, he probably should have traded him in the offseason.
Yep.
Whereas he probably could have got way more prospects.
Yeah. I would have, this past winter at the latest, if not, off the, if he knew that he was going to go to free agency anyway, get it while the stock's the highest, even after the first Cy Young, he still would have had a lot more team control. And if that's what he wanted to do, he could have got a lot more then. Yeah, I agree.
Completely agree. So it was so once that trade went down, then the cork off the bottle was out.
Open.
And everybody started trading. We had some crazy deals. I think the biggest deals: Clay Holmes to the Chicago Cubs, Adley Rutschman to Boston, Luis Arise. Sorry, buddy. Pack your bags. You're moving again. Kevin Gausman, which I hate. That trade is so stupid. Luis Garcia Jr., which we'll get into, and obviously Tarik Skubal. But those other ones were the biggest ones. You could throw Casey Mize in there. You could throw a couple of ones. Under the radar one that I sneakily liked was the Antonio Senzatella from the Rockies to the Brewers. I know the Brewers are getting a lot of flack, but this is a reliever who used to be a starter. His miles per hour has been up like 3 miles per hour this year. I mean, the guy has totally changed his game around in terms of a legitimate bullpen arm. So I thought that was one of the better deals of the day. But what did you think overall about the trade deadline overall before we get into the winners and losers?
I mean, I thought it was good. Like you said, it seemed like once the Skubal trade started that, kind of really kicked things off. I like what the Cubs did. I like the Red Sox. It's just weird though. The Red Sox were so far out of it, and then all of a sudden, boom, they go in and get Adley Rutschman, and then I feel fucking bad for Mike Trout. I mean, pretty much again lost pretty much all his teammates. What Detmer's gone, Soriano's gone, a whole bunch of other players. He's like the Will Smith gif coming in there after the trade deadline. It's like, who the fuck is left here? I wonder if he's having buyer's remorse on that contract.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
A couple of deals that didn't happen that I was surprised was like Hunter Green never left. Hunter Green stays with the same team.
Yep.
There was a couple other people out there that were like, wow, they didn't actually get traded. A couple other pitchers. We thought the Mets would make some bigger deals, but they didn't.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So
the deals they did make, were pretty good. Trying to restock their farm system. We'll talk more about that here in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I thought they could have been a little more active, but overall, yeah, I mean, obviously the biggest name got dealt, and a lot of teams improved. I was surprised. A lot of teams that were in contention for that last wild card spot, a lot of them just said fuck it and sold. Same thing. The Tigers
leagues.
did it. The Orioles did it. And then the team like the Padres, who we talked about, what the fuck are they going to do? They're obviously not going to contend in the West. They're like, fuck it, we're going in. We're going to get this another go. And ramped up the rotation there.
Yeah,
So,
and you got teams like the Nationals who are like, you're on the cusp. What are you doing trading some of your better players, especially one of your best starting pitchers? And we'll get into that in a minute. But, a lot of this, one thing I did see, I seen Buster Posey. Buster Posey to me, was the GM where you're like, you got a plan. You got a plan. I
Yep.
see what you're trying to do. I see what you're trying to do. There was rumors that he was trying to dangle Devers out there, but I don't know if that's substantial because why would you dangle Devers out there after just signing him last season?
Right. Yep.
You know,
That
so
wouldn't
to
make
me,
sense.
I feel like that's what I think the one thing that I found out or that I feel in this trade deadline was the fucking false rumors. Every day there was like a new
Should
bunch
have
of
heard the rumors, Mike.
Oh, dude, like in just the Tigers alone, it was such bullshit rumors,
Mhm.
and it's like, who's letting these go out? Like, who's out there being like, oh yeah, that's legit. Like, there was ones from
Right.
David Dombrowski, like he was out, he was gonna try to get Garrett Cole. There was other ones where he was going like there were heavy players for Tarik Skubal, even
The
though Cashman
Diamondbacks
came
were
out
in
and
on
was
Casey Mize.
yeah, the
You know, all
Diamondbacks
the
were in on Casey Mize. Like none of it ever made sense to me.
no.
And even if they were okay, but there were some of them that were just outlandish. But
Mhm.
I do feel that we ended up getting a little bit more like, okay, some teams are like, okay, we're still rebuilding. We're getting rid of like the Angels. The Angels said, fuck it, right?
Yep.
Like we're back
Yep.
into a rebuild mode. I think the Red Sox gave up on some prospects I was really confused about. So it's just like that. I think, if anything, this trade deadline really showed me what teams thought of themselves and where they might be
Mhm.
going next.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with that completely.
Yes, sir.
Well, we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Yeah.
So okay, we're at this point. Steve and I do this every single year. We do the trade deadline winners and losers. Trade grades are weird,
Mhm.
just because, and winners and losers. It's kind of weird because you don't know what it's going to happen. They could make, it could change the franchise forever, or it could set them back. We don't know. But Steve and I definitely give our best effort to give you some winners and losers. Steve, if you can give us your 3 winners of
Sure.
the trade deadline and why.
Okay. Yeah. Kick things off with you talk about Buster Posey, a guy with a plan, and I'm going to go with the San Francisco Giants. I like what they did. They turned around, realized this shit ain't happening this year, and they traded Luis Ariz, Taylor Ramos, Robbie Ray, Tyler Mahle, among others, and got through a various trades, got 6 big prospects back, and a post hype youngster there in Marcelo Mayer. So I like what they're doing. Like how they're restocking the farm, and we're able to dump off some of those veterans and just go in go in a direction. It's clear that Buster Posey's having a plan here. And second, I'm going to go with the team with the high payroll, and but just wasn't working. I'm going to go with I like what the Mets did. You talked a little bit. None of the really big names. They definitely went and traded a lot of their bullpen arms. Got rid of Freddie Peralta, Luke Weaver. Um, you know, AJ Minter, players like that, and they were able to turn what they gave up, and they got in 11 prospects back in return. And in Weaver's case, it was a smart move. They, paid a chunk of his contract to get the prospects they wanted, and a shortstop and Sammy Stafura, bigger prospect. So I like what they did there, where they took on some of the money in order to get better prospects. Something that you and I have talked a lot about, where if you can eat some of the bullet on that contract, you can definitely replenish the farm better. And my third winner, I went with the Chicago Cubs. I like what they did. Like you talked about earlier, getting Clay Holmes, Kevin Gosman. Yeah, that's cool. But Holmes and Gosman gave them that rotation help. That they needed, and they're the starters that the Cubs needed with injuries to Matthew Boyd and things like that. So I like what they did, bolstering the rotation, getting a little bit of bullpen help as well. So Giants, Mets, and Cubs, those are my 3 winners.
Yeah, not bad. I think out of all those, I think the Cubs and the Giants, definitely some really good moves. Mets,
Mhm.
yeah, definitely good moves. The Gosman thing, yeah,
Yeah.
he's a 35-year-old pitcher that had a
Mhm.
no trade clause on some
A
stuff.
no trade clause.
Which is wild because I never looked at him as that kind of pitcher. I guess
Yeah.
I was more interested in the Giants. I mean, they gave up on Eloy Ramos. You've seen a little bit more of what Buster Posey wants to do with this team, and I'm really interested to see how he tries turning them around. I think they thought they were going to have a better year, but I think as he shapes the club into his image, I think you're going to see a little bit on them going forward. So props to them. Um, So with my winners, I'm going to go with the Dodgers right away. The moves they made.
No, I'm just kidding.
If you go on Lucky Rebel, they bumped up their title chances to 31.4% since the Skubal trade,
wow.
which is hilarious because they were already the heavy favorites to win the World Series.
Yeah,
But
shocking.
the fact that the fact that it's the Dodgers it just bumps it up even more. I mean, it's hard to say that they weren't winners. I mean, they were complete
Right.
winners. I was interested to see some of the moves that they made in terms of like where they thought their holes were. For instance, we knew that they needed more starting pitching. They could have rolled with what they had, but they wanted to sweeten the pot. So Tarik Skubal was the guy. You're getting an instant guy, starter. He could be at the top of your rotation with Yamamoto and the two-headed monster, along with Blake Snell, and you got Sheehan and some of them on the back end. I think you could do some big things. And to top it off, they said, fuck it, we're going to the Royals and getting Chris Bubic, which was kind of outside the box. I thought that was a low risk, high reward. They're going to utilize him as a reliever for sure. I mean, he could spot start if you need him, but Chris Bubic I thought was pretty good. Gives you some depth going into the postseason. I also think one that kind of was shocking to me is they ended up getting two catchers that kind of went under the radar. They traded Ben for Ben Rortvet. I can never say this guy's name. He used to be for the Twins at one time. He's kind of been around the league. He's going to add some catching depth, and then they got Hunter Fiducia, which that means I think that they're out on Dalton Rushing, former top prospect Dalton Rushing. I know I think Ohtani doesn't like Rushing. There was other players that aren't fans of Rushing in the clubhouse. So I think that's why how he wasn't dealt, I don't know. But these two catchers add depth behind Will Smith. So that was kind of interesting. So the Dodgers are definitely a winner. The Guardians, I'm going to put the Guardians as a winner here just because I thought the Guardians going out and getting what they need to get was exactly a surprise to me because I mean they're not like, and when you look at the overall playoff picture, I'm not thinking, oh my god, the Guardians are the team to beat. I don't really look at them like that. But they went out and said, "Fuck it, we're getting Foster Griffin from the Nats. We're getting Joe Adell." Nobody's seen that coming. I didn't even know he was on the market from the Angels, and then Nathaniel Lowe to boost their postseason push. Interesting, a really interesting mix. I thought they were three guys that you buy low and trade high. They didn't have to give up top 2, top 3 prospects on any of these guys, which is surprising. The Angels letting go of Adele was very surprising to me, but I thought the Guardians did a very nice job for the value that they got back without losing a lot. And that's kind of a credit to the Dodgers too, right? The Dodgers didn't have to give up the top 3 prospects or top 2. You know what I mean? Sorota's still there, DePaula's still there, and they, you know what I mean? And they had the best chance to sign Skubal in the offseason. So if I'm on Lucky Rebel, I'm thinking, okay, yeah, definitely I'm going to get, I would say Skubal will sign with them in the offseason because they have the money, which we've said earlier in the show. So those are my two winners. Third winner is the Padres. I thought it was an interesting move. I think AJ Preller, in my opinion, I think he's on the chopping block. I think he knows he's on the chopping block. So he went in and he made moves that I think resurge because the Padres aren't totally out of it, but compared to the other teams, I don't think there's going to be a wild card spot left for them, like you said. So Casey Mize, a buzzer beater deal at the trade deadline, was a great pick. Do I hate seeing him leave Detroit? I do, but he's going to be 30 soon, and he's an injury prone guy. I've seen this. We've seen him from the day, when he was a first pick in the 2018 draft to now, the way he developed, he always had kid gloves on. We thought he'd be a fireballer. He ended up being more of a technician style pitcher, which in turn, he was in this constant state of being cold all the time, which led to a lot of injuries. I still think he's a quality pitcher because he's coming off his best year. They didn't lose a lot. I thought they gave up Cash Mayfield, which I was surprised they gave up Cash Mayfield. To me, he's very much a Blake Snell-esque kind of arm. Probably won't see him with Detroit for a couple of years. Marla loves it.
Marla loves it too. Yeah, definitely a prospect or a project with how young he is. I'd say
definitely, but Marla definitely a guy
it.
that
great move.
Marla, you get it. She really likes Cash Mayfield. Marla, And then we got Jackson Wolf, who will end up being like a bullpen or spot starter as well. But anyways, I thought that was really good that because they're not a strong farm. The Padres don't really have a strong farm team. They got Robbie Ray from the Giants. They used to be. The Giants peddled Robbie Ray, which I knew they wanted to get rid of that contract. And they traded their number 4 prospect, Miguel Mendez, and Yonel Hernandez. Honestly, low risk guys, man. I thought that was perfect value for both teams because Robbie Ray is older now. And then they got, for relief help, Hunter Stratton, who is a sneaky good, I think, reliever arm. I thought the Padres addressed their needs pretty well without giving a whole hell of a lot. So for me, the Dodgers, the Guardians, and the Padres, I thought had the best, aside from yours, because I really do like yours too. But my picks for them would have been the Dodgers, Guardians, Padres for the winner.
No, it makes sense. Especially the Guardians. I mean, they're always just sneaky. They're always consistent right there and just seem to make the right moves to get them into the playoffs. They never really make the moves to get them to a World Series, but they do enough to keep them, consistently. They're consistently consistent at being good. So,
yeah.
Let's move on to the real turds of the trade deadline and
kick it off.
The losers. I'm going to start with our local team, the Detroit Tigers. And I'm starting with the Tigers. Not because I didn't think they should sell. Yeah, of course they should have sold. Tarik Skubal needed to go. We've been saying that for a long time because we knew they weren't going to pay them. Pay Skubal. We knew Skubal was going to go all the way to free agency, demand that high contract. Pay a pitcher that much. But I thought, and we talked about it a little earlier, I thought that Scott Harris could have played the game a little bit better and waited until maybe Monday, kind of played people off each other. You talked about the rumors of, these you should have heard the rumor, all these rumors, leak some stuff to say, oh, the Braves are interested in giving us this, and just, play that game of chicken to see which team, try and penny out the better haul here. Like you said, the Dodgers haul was going to be there, but maybe they could have scared a different team like Milwaukee, who has a fantastic farm system, scared them into giving up some of their prospects. So, I'm okay with the Skubal haul. Sucks that he went to the Dodgers. I just thought they could have played it better. And then, like you said, Casey Mize here, getting rid of him. Yeah, Tigers got the Padres' second best prospect back, but like you said, those are just numbers. The Padres' second best prospect is probably like the Dodgers' 40th best prospect.
Yeah, the quality is different.
The quality is totally different. So, selling off your 2 best pitchers here, and when we talked about it, they're only 2.5 games out. Do I think they're a World Series team? No, but I just thought they could have got, if they're going to sell, they could have got better returns for the people that they gave up. So that's why the Tigers are a loser to me. Second is the New York Yankees. What they really needed to get is a catcher. We talked about it before. Austin Wells blows. Should have went out and got a player like a Ryan Jeffers or any sort of upgrade at catcher, and they didn't do that. They look in their division. The Red Sox went and got Adley Rutschman. The Rays went and got Liam Hicks. So they both added catchers, and the Yankees didn't do squat to help with their help with their glaring hole, which is a catcher. And they got some bats. They got Luis Garcia, Jr., a nice slugger there, and Eloy Ramos. Yeah, but you're still lacking that right-handed bat that you need in your lineup. They didn't go out and get that, and they didn't go out and get any bullpen help either. So their bullpen's still shoddy. Could have used some help in the starting pitching. Didn't go out and get that offensive catcher that they need, and they're still lacking a right-handed outfielder. So I think the Yankees kind of swung and missed. Yeah, if you go on Lucky Rebel, they're still right up there with the best odds to win the World Series, probably right there behind the Dodgers there. But do I think getting into the playoffs they're going to really make some noise? I honestly I don't think so. And third, I'm going to go with the Milwaukee Brewers. They did very Brewers-esque things here. They got Dusty May, Bo Naylor, Jojo Romero, Antonio, Senzatella, and thank you, and Cody Hewer. Solid, all solid picks, but got one of the fucking best farm systems in all of baseball. When are you gonna get shit or get off the pot and actually go for it and make that move to put you over the top and get that World Series? Do that CC Sabathia move that you did back in, was it 2008? Put the chips, put your balls on the table. Go give up some of your coveted prospects to go get that big name like a Tarik Skubal, because guess what? You're going to be running into the Dodgers most likely in the playoffs. Guess what? They'll have Tarik Skubal. If you had the Miz and Skubal as your 1-2 punch in a 7-game series, I would give you a better chance on that. But instead, they made solid Brewers-esque moves, very vanilla moves. That it just seems like they're happy to get to the dance. They're just not. They never want to go home and score at the end of the night. So. So Brewers, Yankees, and Tigers. Those are my 3 losers.
Yeah, off the bat, I mean, the Tigers, you and I very, very much think the returns were good. It's just the way they went about it. They probably could have gotten more. I would have loved to see them pick up a reliever or 2, but the market was there. Yeah. So to me, that was them basically doing what the Brewers did. They were obsessed with their own cover of prospect. Yeah. So the prospects. So they were like, oh, we don't want to give anybody up. We want to get more people, keep more people in. And the Brewers are the same way. I was having Twitter battles for the last 2 days, during the
you were telling
trade
me
deadline.
Yeah.
They're I mean, and for the Brewer fans that listen to our show, listen, we love you. But at the same time, you guys are like crazy. Like, I don't understand why any team, any fan base would be obsessed with their prospect pool when you are like could potentially be a heavy favorite. I mean, you go on Lucky Rebel, the Brewers are up there. You guys on all books are like one of the best teams that couldn't easily knock off the Dodgers. But you're obsessed with your own shit. You know what I mean? Like, this prospects. They were like, well, we don't want to give up Andrew Fisher. We don't want to give up Luis Lara. We don't want to give Pena up. We're definitely not going to give Made, whatever, how you say his last name up. It's like, Jesus, guys. I mean, they were talking about, like, we don't want to give our, Fisher up, who's like a 5th or 6th prospect. in all power.
Spoiler, not all prospects hit. All right.
I know, man.
Maybe there's about a 15 to 20% chance they hit. All right.
And then people were saying, well, we're not going to give up Marla agrees. We're not giving up for rentals. And it's like, yeah, but you guys could win a World Series. Your first fucking World Series. Why wouldn't you give up that? Why wouldn't you give up everything just to get to the show? Because this might be the last time you could do it forever. You just don't know. So I just don't understand why they were doing that. And then the Yankees, of course, the Brian Cashman memes were hilarious of him sleeping in the office and pumping ass while,
God.
there was just tons of gifs like him, the George Costanza sleeping under the desk thing. Just like, he fell asleep. I think they are another one who want to really dig into the prospect pool of their own prospect pool. They are obsessed with George Lombard.
George Lombard Jr. He's up.
Dude, and he's up now. And I tell you this, you heard it here first. I like Lombard. I don't think he's the next incarnation of fucking Derek Jeter. The guy is like like in the minors, I think he's like a 260 hitter. He's good. He has great makeup. Some of the best makeup I've ever seen. But I just don't think it transitions. I don't think he's going to be the superstar. I think he's going to be a solid shortstop, but I don't think he's going to be what you guys thought. And they have him as their number 1 prospect. Oh, okay. I think a lot of people are just always like, they thought that was Spencer Jones, and some of them like, oh, these guys are the next best thing. I mean, Aaron Judge was never their number 1 prospect. He turned out to be better than them all. So
it's a compensatory pick,
Yeah, right. So I don't know, man. That franchise is crazy. So yeah, I get it. To my losers, right off the bat, the Angels, like Steve said it with Mike Trout, just you feel for him. Like he's Will Smith looking around at the empty house. And
yes.
I don't know if you do feel for Mike Trout, but then it's like you knew what you were getting into when you took that last deal with him.
Yeah, that $500 million deal. Yeah,
you have an unmovable contract. So this is what happens if you're going to be a lifetime Angel. I thought them getting rid of Logan O'Hoppe prior, it was a guy that probably needs a new scene. He's just not progressing like they thought. He had sparks, and it was quickly like snuffed out. That one, okay, I'll give it to you, but they didn't really give him a chance to blossom. But then you give up Joe Adell, who is easy the
Yeah.
number 2 with Mike Trout. I'm glad they didn't give up Zach Neto because that was another guy that you should build around. But the Jose Soriano thing made no sense to me. Kirby Yates, Brent Suter, Ryan Zephyr-John. I don't understand why they were cleaning the cupboard again. It's like, are we doing the rinse and repeat with? We're doing the rinse and repeat. We're really doing this again. We're going to rebuild on a rebuild for a rebuild. Like, come on, dude. I just a loser mentality all the way for a team that used to be amazing in the early 2000s. Just really bummer to see. My other one is the Nationals. Like, the Nationals are on the cusp of turning everything around. Like I said, they had the blueprint of the Astros, of what the Astros did with Altuve, and then build behind that. You had that with Luis Garcia Jr., and you trade him away. The guy that was like could be a center of your team. Yeah, I know James Wood and some of those guys are your stars, but that's what the Astros did when they had Altuve. They built around him with stars, and I just don't understand why you got rid of him. Then your best pitcher with Foster Griffin, yeah, he's 30 years old, and maybe you didn't want to pay the guy, but I just thought it was dumb. I just thought it was just like a crazy move when you're actually in contention. Could be in contention, right? I mean, you could have a team here that could make a second half push and move forward, but they decided, no, we're gonna just like drop off. It's like, yeah, you're in 4th place, but you're not that far behind the Miami Marlins, and you're not that far off a wild card. So I don't know. I just thought it was kind of irresponsible for them. And then last but not least, the Orioles.
Yeah.
What happened? Like, are they admitting defeat? Are they just saying, yeah, we probably fucked up? Jackson Holiday isn't looking at all like a star like everybody said he was going to be, which I fucking I had a feeling.
He had it.
Adley Rutschman, you and I bought stock on Adley Rutschman. We thought he was going to be a transcendent catcher.
Yep.
And now look at him. Now it's like, he's had a better season than he's had the last couple of years.
Yeah. But still.
But it's bad. It's really bad. And they traded him and they got a really good haul for the Red Sox. I would have had Red Sox as losers on here just because they're another one. Gave up on Marcelo Mayer. They let a lot of really good, the Eason, the pitcher. I don't know why you guys decided to. I don't know what the direction that team's trying to move in. Because some of their prospects are just not working out. Some are okay, but like Christian Campbell's not doing much. Roman Anthony's an injury-prone dude. These are guys that Marcelo Mayer, you traded away. These are guys that were supposed to be the focal point of your rebuild, and now it's like, well, who are you? Jarren Duran's having a horrible season. Like, I don't know. Like I said, you've seen a lot of the future with a lot of these picks, and the future just doesn't look bright. Especially, with some of these teams, it's like the Orioles. I don't know, just pisses me off. Kind of was like, damn, I feel bad for fans to endure a lot of that.
Oh, for sure. Especially the Angel fans, man. I mean, Mike Trout's career, he's had, one career playoff appearance?
One career.
The fact that they, like you talked about with Soriano, aren't the Angels always looking for, pitching? You finally had a pitcher that was actually good, and you decide to dump him, it doesn't make sense, man.
It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand. It was just like, it was just weird, dude. He was under control. I'm looking right now. He remained under team control through 2028.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why you'd get rid of him. Like, that doesn't make any sense. And the Foster Griffin one, just bummer for the Nationals. What does that say to your young team? It just says, we're going to keep rebuilding.
Yep. So. Yeah, rebuilding since 1957. It's the Lions way,
it's just a
right?
bummer. I'm telling you, this new CBA is gonna change things because you want teams like the Angels and the Orioles and the Nationals to compete, and the Brewers.
Yep.
Without having to give away the farm, and if they're going to be stingy, because this is the only way they feel like they can compete is by draft and develop. If you guys are not developing, then what are we doing? Then you're just losers. I will give if I had a like a runner up, like a honorable mention, Pirates. I thought the Pirates did some good things in the trade deadline.
Yeah, I mean, they're moving themselves up the train. I'm looking at them on Lucky Rebel. They're up to a plus 15,000 though to win the World Series. But I do think that they actually showed a pulse.
Did something. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. They weren't weren't really selling things off. They're buying into what they have, and with that third wild card, it really opens things up. And those fringe teams really think that they can get a shot at it. So good on them for
Good on him.
For taking a small dip into the waters there. So
Amen, brother.
Yep. Well, with that, we'll close the chapter on another trade deadline, and shall we head on over to Fantasy Factory?
Let's do it as I'm closing that chapter.
Close that chapter.
My dick's caught.
Speaking of closing the chapter, you're closing in on me for first place. I had
Pissed me
tough
off because
week.
when I saw that you lost last week,
Yeah.
I was like, I had that little evil smile. I'm like, yes, I'm going to take first place. Man, look, Monday morning, you're still up on me. I'm like,
Yeah,
how's this possible?
I know. I still have a slim game and a half lead, I think, or something.
You got
like
more.
that,
You have less losses than I got. I got more wins.
Yes.
You got less losses. That's what keeps you up.
Yep. So
how's the team looking?
We're getting there.
Are you still tail spinning, or are you still?
I'm tail
strong?
spinning, bro. I'm tail.
Are you
spinning.
really?
Yeah, because just because of some of the moves, like I didn't like the fact that the fucking White Sox traded Sir Anthony Dominguez.
I didn't love that
in that closer role. So now he's moving on to I forgot where the hell he's going, but
that surprised me too.
He's onto a team where I don't know what his role then is going to be on that team, so that could take saves away. Obviously, the Langoliers torn meniscus didn't help me, so I'm still looking for backup catcher help. Now I just saw that J-Ram is day to day, so it's tough going right now, man. I'm holding on.
Baseball season's a marathon, not a sprint, and it's like for fantasy owners, it's like that. You start seeing more injuries. You're like, okay, this is where you picking up in the pool is very, very important for you.
Exactly. So, just trying to stay in that top 2 spot so I can get the bye. That's the that's the key there, because I think without the bye, it seems like if I get the bye, I'm usually in good shape. But with that bye, I tend to get upset or something in the opening round. So we'll see.
Yeah. So with
tight.
that, this week we have a Yar Na where trades are still happening in fantasy baseball. They happen I forgot when the deadline is, but they're still out there.
Yep.
Saw a couple, and I thought, okay, Steve, give it a Yar Na as the commissioner here. Julio Rodriguez, Corbin Carroll, and Casey Mize for Jacob Mizorowski, the Miz. This is our first trade of the day. Give it a yeah or a nah?
I'm gonna go nah, just for the sheer fact that Julio and Corbin play every day, and you're in your return, you're getting pitchers who pitch every 5th day. The Miz is doing great. Casey Mize, like we talked about earlier, is very injury prone, so I just think it's a little unbalanced on the side of giving up 2 everyday players for two pitchers. So it's going to be a nah for me on that one.
A nah for the yes man.
Yeah, nah for the yes man.
All right. So next one we have is a Brooks Lee and Brian Reynolds for Dylan Dingler. Yeah or nah?
Dylan Dingler, one of the top catchers in the league right now.
Yep.
Brian Reynolds is having a good year as well.
He is. Yep.
I'm going to go yeah on this one. I like
it.
Yep. It's a yeah for me. You got 2, Brooks Lee is, he's Brooks Lee. Could obviously do more. But Brian Reynolds is having a solid year for the Pirates. Dylan Dingler obviously should have been an all-star, right up there, should have been voted in as an all-star instead. He got placed in technicalities. But anyway, I think that's I regress. I think it's balanced on both sides. That's going to be a yeah for me.
So a nah and a yeah.
So I got a nah and a yeah. Yep.
Well, are you ready to help more of our fantasy users here for another edition of Start or Sit?
I'm ready. Let's cue the music.
Okay, who are we starting this week, Steve? Michael Busch or Bryce Harper? Start or sit?
I'm going to go Bryce Harper. You see Bryce Harper is moving back to the outfield as well. That's
back to the outfield for now.
Yeah, for now. Yeah, give it time. Yeah, exactly. But I'll go Bryce Harper.
Willie Adames or the guy who we thought was going to get traded, Gleyber Torres.
So Tigers losing for nothing at the end of this year. Anyway, I digress on that too. Willie Adames.
I don't think nobody's going to sign Torres to what he wants. That's why he ended up taking arbitration.
So you think he'll come back hat in hand to the Tigers again in the offseason?
Yep. Lawrence Butler or Pete Crow Armstrong?
PCA.
Sal Frelick or Brent Rooker?
Sal Frelick.
Josh Bell or Paul Goldschmidt?
Paul Goldschmidt.
Goldie again or Yandy Diaz?
Yandy Diaz.
Kyle Schwarber or Seiya Suzuki?
Schwarber.
Chase Mydroth or Bryson Stott?
Bryson Stott.
Dylan Cruz or Jaron Duran?
Dylan Cruz.
Matt Olson or Nick Kurtz?
Matt Olson.
Austin Riley or Isaac Paredes?
Isaac Paredes.
Ellie De La Cruz or Ernie Clement?
Ellie De La Cruz.
Max Clark having a
Whoa,
good,
first time on here. Okay.
yeah, debut, and he's coming out hot out of the gate until they figure him out.
Yep.
Max Clark or Wyatt Langford?
I'm going with Max Clark.
Riding the hot hand. Dylan
Yep,
Dingler
yep.
or new Red Sox Adley Rushman?
Dylan Dingler.
Kazumo Okamoto or Pete Alonso?
Akamoto.
Jazz Chisholm or Ketel Marte?
Ketel Marte.
And rounding it out, Tommy Edman or a guy I thought would be traded that wasn't, Byron Buxton.
Tommy Edman.
What do you got for waiver wire?
Here's 3 players I'm looking at this week here on the waiver wire to potentially bolster your roster as we go down the stretch run here to the playoffs. First is Randy Dobnak for the Kansas City Royals. He's up 10% in Yahoo leagues. He went 7 innings last week, getting the win and striking out 4. Second for me is Ryan Weathers of the Yankees, up 6% in Yahoo leagues. He pitched 7 innings last week, got the quality start, no decision, but still struck out 4. So good pitcher there as well. Not much on the strikeouts, but he can get you those innings though, and keep the runs down. And third is Hector Rodriguez for Cincinnati. He's up 9% in Yahoo leagues. Doesn't have any stats yet because he just got called up. Potentially could play. We're recording here Tuesday to potentially play starting tonight. So people got that prospect fever and are buying on Rodriguez. So those are 3 players I'm looking at this week on the waiver wire.
Interesting. Yeah, didn't we get Dobnak in a fucking trade last year?
Good old Dobnak. Yeah, I think we
never
did.
fucking played him.
Nope. Oh, worked out well for us, huh?
Yeah, go fucking figure, bro.
Yep. Shall we head on over to Collection Corner?
Let's do it.
All right. Yeah. You don't need to be a serious collector to get into cards. Market Movers makes it simple. Just take a picture of any card and instantly see its value, sales history, and add it to your collection. With data from millions of transactions across all major marketplaces, you can trust what you're seeing. You can track your collection, follow your favorite players, and better understand the card market. Plus, members get monthly giveaways, a weekly newsletter, and invites to live events. Use code GONE20 for 2 weeks free, then 20% off for life at marketmoversapp.com. And speaking of monthly giveaways, between now and our Hobby Huddle segment in August, you can enter for a chance to win a 2026 Topps Series 2 Jumbo Box. When you sign up for your membership using promo code GONE20, that automatically enters you into the giveaway. If you signed up in the past, don't worry, you are already entered. So, head to marketmoversapp.com and get in on the fun.
Okay, so this week, Steve, you should get this one pretty easy. We haven't talked about this guy for a little while, but it is pretty easy. Right off the bat, I should tell you, I don't think he should be in the Hall of Fame, but maybe. I don't know. I'm kind of torn on it, but just because the benchmark stats aren't there, even though the accolades are. But here we go. This guy is a 7-time All-Star, a 2-time World Series champion, an NL MVP, 3-time Gold Glove Award winner, 3-time Silver Slug Award winner, 2-time NL batting champion. His number is retired by the Pittsburgh Pirates as well as the Cincinnati Reds and shock, the Milwaukee Brewers.
Oh, God. Okay.
Played 1 season for him, Steve. 1 fucking season for him. Insane, right?
That's
we talked
crazy.
about this. Yeah. Okay. Lifetime stats, 290 batting average, 2,712 hits, 339 home runs, 1,493 RBIs. I would have played an extra season just to get the fucking 1,500. He played for, I'm saying these teams out of order, the Angels, the Blue Jays, the A's, the Pirates, the Reds, and the Brewers. I consider him one of my top 20 favorite players because he was just a I don't give a fuck kind of guy. and he was a team player. And I mean, he would be smoking fucking darts in the dugout. He is recently inducted into Major League Baseball Hall of Fame in 2025 with 87.5% of the vote. And by who? The Classic Baseball Era Committee, which used to be just the Era Committee, the Veterans Committee, all fucking jumped into one now. So, Steve, do you know who I'm talking about?
You talk about the Cobra, Dave Parker?
Fuck yeah, baby. Rifleman, let's go.
I love Dave Parker, just smoking long darts right there in the dugout, Jim Leland style.
It's a tough one, dude. Where do you stand? You and I have talked about him before. Where do you stand in Dave Parker getting in? I'm on the fence. I think it could go either way.
I'm on the fence as well. Personally, I think I'd go with no.
Yeah, just because the benchmarks.
The benchmarks aren't there. I think he's in the Hall of Very Good.
I agree, man.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. He's in the Hall of Very Good, and while he was a great player, he just doesn't have those benchmarks. Not even one. I mean, he almost, if he got the runs batted in, 7 more RBIs, I'd have been you're in. But people would be like, come on, dude, 7 RBIs? I'm like, they're benchmarked for a reason. They're benchmarked for a reason.
Yep.
If Marty McFly went 87 miles an hour, his fucking car wouldn't have went and traveled through time. It had to be 88.
Yep. I agree. Yeah.
So my market movers pick of the week is the 1974 Topps Dave Parker rookie card, number 252. He looks young as fuck in it.
Card. Yep.
But his still has a little mustache and everything. That card alone, ungraded, goes for about $15 to $20. Graded, if you go into 8, 9, or 10, anywhere from $238 PSA 8. There is a PSA 8 for PSA 10 Gem Mint 10 for $5,800. I don't think that would be worth it. But I think in the $200 range for near perfect sits just about right for Dave Parker.
Okay.
So that's my market movers pick of the week. Yeah.
Here comes mine. Yeah. The one I went with, my market movers pick of the week here. The guy, obviously a baseball player, but not to be confused with a musical artist as well. This guy actually, when he was playing high school baseball in the 80s, there he played baseball only during his senior season, where he played a mixture of right field and played a little bit of shortstop. He was selected by the Texas Rangers in the 39th round of the 1982 Major League Baseball draft, and he signed for a signing bonus of $1,000. They decided, fielding, everyday player wasn't quite your thing, but you love your arm strength. So I'm going to, Texas converted him to a pitcher, where he spent 7 years in the minors before making his debut with the Rangers in 1989 as a reliever. Played reliever for a bit, and then became a starting pitcher in 1993. Obviously began his career with Texas, moved on to some other teams. I'll list these other teams. He's kind of like the Billy Martin here, because he went to Texas a few times. He had 3 separate stints with Texas, but also had some stints with the New York Yankees, the Oakland Athletics. He played for the Mets. He played for the Twins, and played for our Detroit Tigers at one point as well.
I think I know what you're talking about.
He's a 4-time All-Star. World Series champion during his time with the Yankees in '96. Was known, obviously, for his impeccable fielding as well. He's a 5-time Gold Glove Award winner. Pitched a perfect game for the Rangers in 1994, and he also led the Tigers to their last World Series victory in that 2006 World Series. Mike, do you know what I'm talking about?
Well, yeah, their last victory. Like they won a game. Yeah,
they actually won a game. Yeah.
Because for a minute I was like, wait, he just threw a curveball at me.
No.
Kenny Rogers.
It is. Yeah.
Awesome. I wish. Remember we had that storied kind of thing when we re-signed Verlander this year. Like he was going to be the Kenny Rogers, how Kenny Rogers was to him in 06. We thought that's the way it's going to be, and it never
hasn't quite worked out, has it, Mike? But it was good. He kind of, kind of just went off and did his own thing. So he made a rare public appearance. The Tigers recently celebrated their 125th anniversary, and he was a part of that a couple of weeks ago. So it was good to see him back out there. Because you don't see him too much. Once he retired, he kind of just went off and did his own thing. So
never knew that he was an outfielder. Played his senior year baseball for the first time, and then shortstop, and then I never knew he converted to pitcher because of his arm.
He hit 375 as a right fielder and shortstop in his 1 year of high school baseball.
And that alone got him drafted.
That alone got him drafted and started the whole thing from there, and then converted to a pitcher, and went from there. My market movers card that I went with is his 2008 Topps, so it'd probably be his last playing card there. As a member of the Tigers there. Doesn't really go for much money. It goes between about $1 to $2, but still, I love that that 2008 Topps design, kind of a playback on the retro look there. So yeah, Kenny Rogers,
love it.
Shall we get the candles out and celebrate a birthday?
The fucking door.
All right. Card that I was looking at online that I like for this guy would be his 1940 play ball card, number 171, and that's keeping with the Tigers here. It's a happy heavenly birthday to Tigers great and Hall of Famer Harry Heilman, born on August the 3rd of 1894. Heilman compiled a career 342 batting average, 2,660 hits, 183 home runs, and 1,543 runs batted in. Played for the Detroit Tigers from 1914, and then from 1916 to 1929, then closed out his career with the Cincinnati Reds from 1930 to 1932. Career accolades for him was he was a 4-time batting champion, and it was always in years that were odd, like it says in the that Tigers song that we love from the 80s there. So, you're on Lucky Rebel and you're looking at an odd year. It's an even year. Don't bet on Harry Heilman to be your batting champion, because he was only doing it in years that are odd. He was elected to baseball's Hall of Fame in 1952 on his 12th ballot. And a little trivia on him is he remains one of only 6 players in American League history to hit 400 for a season, having accomplished the feat in 1923 with a 403 batting average.
Well, would you fucking look at that?
Yeah, so there you go. Harry Heilman, everyone.
Yeah, very much like a Byron Buxton. Every other year he was good.
Every other year he was good. Yeah, pretty much. Got into the Hall of Fame, though. Buxton ain't going to be sniffing the jockstrap of the Hall of Fame, though. So, maybe the Twins Hall of Fame, maybe.
Maybe. But in the meantime, happy birthday, you son of a bitch.
Whew, happy birthday, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a fucking show, Steve.
Good show, man. Good trade deadline, post-trade deadline show.
Yeah. You and I were joking at the beginning of the show, but poor Jake Rogers.
Poor Jake Rogers, man. The Rogers family's moving again. Gets traded to
Rogers are moving again. Him and Luis Ariz are probably like, fuck, we never unpacking our shit, man.
Nope. Pack my mustache comb. I'm traded again.
Yeah, he was kind of like, fuck, dude, I couldn't even sit down for a cup of coffee in Baltimore. What's going on? And I'm still backing up the same guy I thought I was going to be behind.
Yeah, he's still backing up the same guy. I guess I'm going to be back up to Adley Rush. Oh, crap, I'm going to be back up to Adley Rushman again.
Yeah. Oh, come on, man.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Be a bud, tell a bud. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. Have some interviews coming up, which is nice.
Yep. For sure.
Yep. As we're nearing the end of the season, we'll probably get some more interviews. Now we're in the throes of everything's winding down. Postseason going to be interesting. Steve and I are talking about doing some watch-alongs, some watch parties of our own.
Yep.
So we'll start. Yeah, we'll probably do one soon here. Definitely in the postseason. Yep. That's another as well. We won't be homers and just do Tiger games.
Well, we know those fuckers ain't making the postseason anyway. So
yeah, shit. Might as well just do the MLB thing where you get all the screens. And then just watch all the games I want.
I like it.
But yeah, everybody, thanks for listening. Make sure to go to our YouTube channel, Long Gone the podcast. But in the meantime, everybody have a great week, and we will catch you guys all next week.
I almost did yours right there, but deuces. There it is. All right.